Hello everyone, my name is Barry Nijveld. I'm a Senior Consultant Education at RISBO Erasmus University. In my career many times I've been confronted with the challenges of designing an assessment that helps students to attain their learning goals. In this video you'll learn about the formula of Kees van der Vleuten, a Dutch professor of education, which could offer you some insights in how to select the most suitable methods of assessment for your teaching purposes. After watching this short video and finishing the related assignment, you'll be able to explain about the 5 crucial factors that influence the utility or usefulness of an assessment method, and you'll be able to explain how the factors interrelate and apply this knowledge on specific assessment methods and make a statement about their utility. Choosing appropriate assessment methods for a module is often a difficult task. Keep in mind that in order to choose wisely, it's important to have a clear view on what the specific function is of your assessment. Why is this important? Because the function you want your assessment to fulfill in a study process will influence the 5 factors in the formula. But that will be revealed later on in this clip. So, possible functions of an assessment at the end or during a learning process could be giving feedback to students, assigning grades to students, selecting students, influencing students' learning behavior, like timely starting to study the materials, make students experience satisfaction for the learning effort they put in, or completing or wrapping up the learning process, and finally, assessment could be needed to be accountable to external stakeholders. Van der Vleuten created a formula in which the utility of an assessment is reflected by 5 factors. These factors are reliability, validity, educational effects, acceptance of stakeholders, and cost efficiency. I provide you with a rough overview on what these factors stand for. First, we have reliability. Reliability is reflecting to what extent repetitive sessions of an assessment instrument will generate the same result. In other words, if 2 or more comparable groups of students will be assessed, the same results should come out of it. We know from research that reliability is influenced by the length of an exam, the number and the diversity of questions in an exam, the transparency of an assessment, and the clarity of the language used and the clarity of expectations of both students and the teacher. The next factor is validity. In this case, with validity we mean, does the assessment actually measure what we want to measure? In other words, is the assessment aligned with the formulated learning objectives, and does it provide us with insight into which extent these objectives have been reached? For example, assume you want your students to learn how to repair a flat bike tire. If the assessment of this learning process would be a multiple choice test in which students would have to name all the bike parts involved in repairing a flat tire, we would not accept this as being a valid assessment, because the assessment does not measure the real intended learning outcomes. The third factor is educational effects. Assessment influences the learning process, there's no doubt about that. It is, however, interesting to consider to which extent the learning process is influenced by the assessment, and does it have a positive or a negative effect. For example, the assessment stimulates students to put time and effort in the learning process. The assessment helps students to start timely with the learning activities. The assessment offers students information on how well they did in their learning process. This is called feedback. The assessment offers students information on how to improve next time. This is called feed forward. The assessment offers students information on how their learning outcomes contribute to achieving the higher level program outcomes. This is called feed up. Beware! An ill-chosen or badly designed assessment could really have a serious negative effect on reaching the learning goals and on complying to the function of the assessment as we discussed earlier on. Acceptance by stakeholders. A chosen assessment methodology needs to be accepted by all crucial stakeholders. This means students, teachers and program management should have enough confidence in the outcomes generated by the assessment. In some cases, this means that before a new assessment methodology is used, effort needs to be put in creating commitment for it. Cost, or better, cost efficiency. In all assessment methods, costs are involved. Cost for staff, locations, technology, etc. The cost efficiency is the number of students divided by the cost. Van der Vleuten describes these factors as a formula. Utility equals reliability multiplied by validity multiplied by educational effects multiplied by acceptance and finally multiplied by cost efficiency. Most unfortunately, we can't calculate with this formula. It merely gives us an insight, a perspective to help us select assessments, and the only thing we can say is that none of the factors should be too low or even zero, because in that case the utility of the assessment will seriously suffer.